Hey guys, I'm FatBuddyCat, and this is the Ultimate Torque Bug 3.0. Alright, short and sweet. Today, we're going to install a seat. This is a 12-incher from my friends at OMBWarehouse.com. It might not be the most comfortable option for me, but I'm going to try it out anyway. First thing I'm going to have to do is make some new tabs to mount this thing on. The one that we have left isn't going to cut it. And it's really not going to cut it because we're going to take it off. I marked 2 parallel lines off of this one first. I'm hoping somebody got that right. The edge of my seat goes to that first mark. I came back a 1/4 inch, and then I have a 1-inch tab that I'm going to be welding in. We're going to do the front one and then the back one. That way, the back one that we set is parallel to the front one no matter what. So, I'm going to have to clean off the paint and take it down to the metal. I already went ahead and cut up a couple tabs. All cleaned off. I made new marks. Mine are at 5 inches. That's going to be to the front edge of my tab. These tabs are 1 inch by 5 1/4. I'm just going to set it in like that and weld it. That's it. After that, we'll measure for the back one. Got her all welded up, and I have 2 more marks made for the face of the rear tab. Those are 10 inches back from the face of this one. That 10 inches gives me 1 inch on center for these holes here. So, if you measure from the front of the seat to where the new tab's going to be, it's 10 1/4. That'll make up for the little reveal that we're going to be trying to keep to hide the front of that tab. The holes that we're going to be making are going to be in the center of these. Same exact thing. I'm going to clean this off, make 2 marks again, weld my tab on. Beautiful. Next, we have to figure out where the 3 holes go. I made a line that was straight across on my front tab. I'm going to slightly offset my hole to the back. So my center is going to be just off the face of the line this way. From the center of that hole back for the center holes here, you have to be 9 13/16. So, where this is slightly pitched back, I cheated it to the front ever so slightly so that our bolts go through at the straightest, flattest point. We'll probably have to put a washer or something on top to help make up for that. We'll see how it goes. I marked back from that straight line to 2 points, and that gave me my center mark for these holes. Now I just have to figure out where they go this way. You guys are lucky you get to see the fast forward version. I just marked the centers of these tabs. This union here is going to be the center for the first hole. That'll be the front of the seat. For the back, I have my center. I now have to figure out how far apart these holes are center to center. Split that in half and then measure from here. And that'll give me the correct spacing. It's 3.5 on center. So I just measured 1 3/4 and 1 3/4 just to make sure that ended up with my 3.5 right on the center. I'll hit these with my punch and I'll drill them out. I have my 3 holes drilled. I went one size bigger than the bolt itself because you don't want to come through at these T-nuts at an angle. You don't want to cross thread them or cause any more torsion than you have to when you're tightening them. If you spin those on the inside, they're all done. The way they work is you tighten the nut into the threads, it pulls a series of teeth back in to the wood, into the grains on the back side, and that is what binds it together. So on the back, where I'm working with a little bit of an angle, it has a tendency to angle the bolt as well. I'm going to be placing a washer on top of the tab, so it'll pass through then through a washer, then into the seat. I'm also going to expand these holes into some little mini slots. Okay, so perhaps my slots are a little excessive. I'm going to use a slightly larger washer. The head of this bolt probably isn't going to pull through, but just to be safe, on my final assembly, I'm going to use something longer, and I'll keep that in consideration. I'll be sure to get enough length where I can have a washer on the top and the bottom. Let's see if this works. Here we are, hand tightened, which is very important because we know that we're not fighting the T-nuts. You can see that little space that's underneath. I'm going to add a washer or two in that longer bolt so that when we tighten it down and it's snug, it's not touching the frame rails itself. When you sit on it, it might, but it'll spread the face out of where the bolts are pulling on the T-nut. When you have that washer there, it'll give you a greater area of surface tension so you're not pulling directly on those threads. If that gap wasn't there and we were sitting right on the rails at all times, we wouldn't have that constant torsion, right, from when you get off and on the seat. So, might be OCD, but we're going to do whatever we can to make this thing last as long as we can. It looks really, really cool. It looks really nice from the back, from the side. The wedge is a little dramatic, in my opinion. There's not a lot here, but all things considered, without cantilevering something off the frame or doing something different up here, it's all we have to work with. We could modify this in the future if we wanted to. When you sit on it, it's not terrible. The height is nice. My arms are straight out to the handlebars. The foot pegs, well, I think we're going to have to take a look at those. It's a good thing. I already talked it over with a couple of my friends, and we came up with a solid game plan. Because that's how you keep it moving when it's a work in progress. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching. And I'll catch you on the next one.